Hello, my divinities. Welcome, welcome. So today we have a little bit different. It's going to be similar to the layout we had yesterday, but different decks. So let me turn on this incense and then we will get started. Oh, I love the smoke off of that Palo Santo. Oh, I forgot. I have to remove the other one. Okay, let's get started. What's the energy for today's collective? We've got Pearl of Sharon, Beta of Spirit Wolf, and Ivory Wish Fulfilling Crow. Ooh, okay. And guys, I just want to mention the fact that remember that reading I gave where I was talking about the danger for feminines coming up 2 to 3 years. We're going to start seeing signs of it in 2 years, 3 years. It's going to get really hard. I specifically said women from Asia. Look at the trade war. Look at the trade. I'm telling you guys, y'all need to start preparing. We need to start preparing to protect our Asian lovely ladies, because I don't know why it's not, the men are not going to be in danger, it's the women. So we don't know what that means yet, but you'll see. Sometimes I hate being right. Okay, number 30. No, I'm lying. I don't hate being right. I hate the things that I find out sometimes. 39, which is the Ivory Wish Fulfilling Crow. I don't think I've ever read that one before. Okay. So this says, you can have what you truly want. Such knowledge helps soften and release fear, grasping, control, and doubt. Have confidence that the universe hears your prayers and is even now leading you into that which you seek. You can take sanctuary within your spiritual connection whenever you need stabilization and protection against the fluctuations of the external world. No matter what is happening around you, there is a way through to the fulfillment of your potential. Busunda is the mysterious Hindu sage who assumes the form of a crow and lives atop the magical wish-fulfilling tree, thriving whether there be feast or famine in the world. As a highly evolved supernatural being, he has outlived the ending of numerous world ages. No calamity or cataclysm can shake the powerful divine tree or the creatures who live within its shelter. The sacred tree is a place of sanctuary and protection where no harm can befall any of its inhabitants. The wish-fulfilling tree is a spiritual symbol for the soul, the heart, and the divine bodhisattvas, I probably said that wrong, bodhisattvas, or enlightened sages who guide and protect humanity. It represents a high level of consciousness which is abundant and in harmony with the universe and therefore blissful, free, and generous. This oracle reminds you that as you align with spirit, you are aligning with a powerful field of grace, which has protective and strengthening qualities. It is a spiritual tonic with effect in all dimensions and all realms of existence. The prize for such sacred empowerment is the surrender of one's ego. This is a lifelong journey for most of us, rather than a one-time event. We recondition our minds in the ways of spirit again and again. We disentangle our hearts from societal conditioning based in fear, dominance, greed, victimization of getting one's personal goals met at any cost. We recognize there is a profound difference between taking and receiving. We trust in what is destined for us. Stories abound in the Hindu tradition of various wish-fulfilling manifestations, from goddesses to trees to cows and gems. When someone sought to possess the wish-fulfilling treasure for their own personal use, they would always be thwarted by the higher spiritual intelligence of love, which cannot be controlled or manipulated but remains as it is, pure and generously giving all that is needed to the receptive heart. Ivory is an organic material, like bone, which makes up the tusks and teeth of numerous animals of land and sea. Tusks are used to brush away vegetation and obstacles to help an animal move through its environment. Therefore, one metaphysical correspondence of ivory is the ability to move through even inhospitable environments successfully. The message of the Ivory Wish Fulfilling Crow is that one does not have to dominate or manipulate others to attain success. It is enough to align with spirit and trust that your sacred inner work is sufficient to attract whatever is needed to manifest your higher purpose. You can attain what you seek by becoming and radiating rather than through contriving or manipulating. Busunda teaches that when the cosmic fire of transformation becomes too intense, we can focus upon the sacred waters. When the winds of change blow ferociously, we focus upon the mountain. When the waters become such that we fear becoming submerged, it is best to focus upon the movement of the air. He is describing the way of responsiveness and balance. You can recognize what is happening and adjust your sails to suit the winds, rather than trying to change the ways of nature. This oracle guides you to trust that you will reach your destination even when there are forces beyond your control. You don't need to be more powerful than oppressive forces to overcome them. In connection with your heart temple of spirit, you will be empowered to proceed on your path with abundance, wisdom, and joy. Wow. Right when I'm thinking about what's happening. That's a great message. Great message for today's collective. Okay, so let's go to number 35, Pearl of Sharo. Okay, so the Pearl of Sharo says, taking responsibility for your experiences empowers you. You are going to resolve an issue through spiritual inspiration and higher guidance. You will rise up in full connection to your spirit and access a wealth of divine treasure. That which has brought darkness into your world shall submit to the light and be transformed. Have courage and commitment to your awakening, for you are a precious being and can go far on the spiritual path this lifetime. Sharo is a Tibetan word meaning to arise or manifest and shine with radiant spiritual light. Sharo is the outcome of sacred alchemy. It is the manifestation of the pearl beyond price. Created in the depths of the ocean, hidden away in a clamshell away from prying eyes, this pearl symbolizes a beautiful blessing of unexpected grace. It began when an irritant caused the formation of a luminescent coating. The healing response to that initial intrusion resulted in an organic creation of inestimable beauty, value, and uniqueness, so this pearl can be a sacred catalyst. To arise spiritually, manifesting one's own priceless soul pearl, we are required to respond to an initially unwanted situation in such a way that our soul light and power is increased as a result. This soul alchemy evokes the inner pearl of radiant being. Such spiritual wisdom cannot be bought or sold, controlled, nor exploited. It is perfect, nourishing grace, always free and always radiant with light. It is the inspirational triumph of creativity and healing. In the inner work of self-transformation, we take that which appears negative and utilize it to increase our goodness. However, we need to take care not to attribute the negativities to divine will that are actually caused by humans. Human beings have free will. Without it, there could be no growth, only a following of rules. For the soul, life is something like multidimensional art class. It is allowed to create with absolute freedom, with the understanding that it will be responsible for its creations. That opens the path for truly beautiful and blessed offerings to the collective. It also opens the path to expressions of free will that create suffering. Whether our choices create liberation or enslavement to pain is the responsibility of human beings. This body has been given to us that we may learn and grow spiritually. We are all in that process, varying in our capacities and awareness, but ultimately progressing together. If some members of our human family are in such pain they can only create further pain, that is their choice. As a group, we work to heal the causes of that pain to free them and the rest of us from such a tragic use of free will. When rare and precious members of our human family develop such luminous awareness that exuding light, they call us into greater peace and happiness, then those of us who are able to receive and share what they offer to do so, then those of us who are able to receive and share what they offer to do so for the benefit of all. From a deeply pained place of confusion, some souls cry out in anger towards the divine, wondering why there is disease and suffering and cruelty on this planet. We need to understand the difference between taking an ego-created situation and working with it so that it can become divine, and believing the ego-created situation was divine to begin with. Spirit does not wish you or any creature to become sick or to suffer. In its infinite resourcefulness and love, with full respect for your free will, which enables you to grow according to your own pace and purpose, Spirit will provide path after path of healing resolution. It is up to us when or if we answer that call. This oracle has emerged in your reading because you have the capacity to become a light bearer. Safeguard your energy, yet trust that the light within is strong enough to see you through any struggle and eventually transform it into a precious pearl of sacred empowerment. You have wisdom in your divinely alchemical heart. You shall arise with dignity. Ooh, okay. Now, number 23. Okay. Number 23, Beta of Spirit Wolf. Give yourself enough rest. Only then will you be able to ground yourself enough to cultivate focus and motivation to fulfill your path. You will find a way through any tricky situation as you tune into your instincts and trust your own timing. From times of change and uncertainty comes confidence, love, and resilience. Embrace transition. Commit to your tasks and stay focused, but be flexible in your approach. You have the skill to intuitively handle any issue. Spirit Wolf skillfully guides us through transition and uncertainty. He enhances instinct, intuition, and presence so we can sense and avoid possible sabotage or traps and intelligently and safely find our way around them. Spirit Wolf tunes us into our instincts without creating paranoia or hyper-arousal. This is the medicine of awareness and engagement that comes from tuning in without fear, rather from defensiveness, suspicion, and building walls against life. Where direct confrontation could stall a resolution or make matters worse, Spirit Wolf teaches us to soften our energy, appear less threatening, and therefore minimize the chance of the other party reacting aggressively out of fear. This enhances the possibility of resolution. Spirit Wolf calls for lunar wisdom, for honoring the non-rational knowing of intuition, for trusting our spiritual instincts and inner sense of timing. He is the unconventional yet reliable pathfinder. He shows us how to be flexible while remaining connected to our higher purpose. Beta of Spirit Wolf brings the message that your resourcefulness and capacity to meet your needs is greater than you realize. We have it within us to engage all situations with courage and willingness. We will always find a way through. As Spirit Wolf thrives in cheerful, playful social bonding with his tribe, there is also a reminder that connection is an essential ingredient in our approach to life. To thrive and have as much fun as the intelligent, playful, successful, adaptable, and resourceful wolf, we need love in our lives. To experience love, we must be willing to reach out, open up, and run the risk of letting love in, as well as to share it unconditionally, without thought for what we can get out of it, which would transform the beautiful gift of love into a manipulative tool of ego. Beta brainwaves oscillate between 14 Hz and 40 Hz. It is the pattern of our waking state when our alertness and reasoning are heightened. If our beta waves become excessive, it can be challenging to transition into more relaxed states, and the result is increased stress. Stress is a significant problem for the human collective, and the negative impact on our health and our planet is considerable. It is easier for a relaxed mind to access clarity and inspiration. Beta waves are stimulating, and while heightened arousal is beneficial in small doses at appropriate times, if this becomes our dominant way of being, our stress levels will compromise our well-being and our wisdom. The excess of anxiety-related disorders affecting humanity at this time is one symptom of beta brainwaves in overdrive. Beta helps us get things done, but imbalanced, it disconnects us from the nourishing, sacred feminine presence within the heart that generates contentment. Beta excess is progress at any cost. Beta deficiency results in lack of focus and inattention to what is happening, so problems are not readily resolved. Spirit Wolf brings a healing recalibration of our beta waves so we can avoid depression and feel motivated, yet also know when to step back and reconnect to the slower healing rhythms of the heart and soul. Well. Okay, so we've got the need for rest, the need to understand that the things that we've gone through, they were never something that divinity imposed upon us. They were literally just part of being human and encountering other humans who create suffering, who create a planet that thrives in suffering. And the ivory wish-fulfilling crow is basically telling us that even when we do encounter suffering, even when there are market crashes, even when there are great depressions, when there's illness, we can still be safe. It doesn't mean that even though we can't control bigger things like that, we can still control our reality within that flow, right? So very interesting. Let's go ahead and put these up here. We're going to keep these in mind as we start today's collective. So let's go ahead and get started. What's the energy for today's collective? Or what does this mean? Okay, we got 10 of Wands. Interesting. Spiritual communication influences religious men, teachers, and men of law. That one came out reversed. But what is it? It's the Four of Swords. Mission protects against slander and impious people. Reversed. The World. Fountain of wisdom gives success in all ventures. Okay. Along with the Three of Swords, love and submission cures illness, influences paternal love, gives long life. Six of Wands, longevity protects against infirmities. Seven of Wands, liberation, deliverance from enemies, both visible and invisible. Interesting. Overall energy, Eight of Pentacles, intellectual talent provides knowledge. So, this is a very interesting turn of events. Okay, so this is giving us different messages because on one hand, I'm looking at the placements of the cards, like what they mean in normal tarot. And then on the other hand, I'm looking at the messages that come on the cards. So first, let's look at the tarot message. Eight of Pentacles, our daily life. This has to do with our day-to-day routines. I feel like there's about to be a big change, which is why this energy is coming up of like, number one, we may not be able to control the bigger things happening globally. However, that does not mean that we are going to be destroyed by them. We can take adversities and difficulties that we go through and turn it into something beautiful. But we're going to have to make sure to rest, stay grounded, stay connected to our intuition. With the Ten of Wands, I do feel like there's about to be more burdens globally. Everyone's going to start feeling it. Because with the Four of Swords reversed in the world is in a very unhealed place. Now, Four of Swords reversed, I'm not fond of because when it is upright, that is Libra Jupiter energy. So when it is reversed, that's Aries Jupiter energy. So I'm going to be real with you. This either means that we are going to go to war. And with the world here, it might actually be another world war. Or there will be talks of war. There will be a lot of people. Because I think a lot of people will be talking about it because I don't see a lot of other wand energy. Only these two. Well, we have 3 wands energy. But this is Saturn in Sagittarius. So I think there's going to be a lot of isolation. Like each nation is going to start keeping to themselves. Especially the United States. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but the United States is a Sagittarius rising. So Saturn on Sagittarius means that the United States as a whole is going to feel oppressed. But let's be real, they brought that on themselves. Six of Wands. That's Leo Jupiter. So while some nations, specifically the United States, I think is going to suffer in a lot of ways, other nations are going to rise. Now, I do not know which nations are Leo, but Leo seems to be very strong here. Six of Wands is Leo Jupiter. Seven of Wands is Leo Mars. So whatever nation is going to rise out of this chaos, they're going to defend themselves. They're going to be very protective. Now, I also think that this has two meanings. This is not just a nation. I think this also represents femininity, because it's talking about, knowing how to protect yourself by using your intuition. And we have liberation, longevity, protects against infirmities, deliverance from enemies, both visible and invisible. I think the feminine energies are going to need to be very, very in tune with themselves and their intuition right now, so that they know how to best protect themselves. In fact, I forgot which card it was. Maybe this one was talking about how sometimes we need to make sure to soften our approach so that we don't come off threatening, so that people don't attack out of fear, out of aggression. I do think that the United States will start talking of war a lot. Because the Three of Swords is also Saturn Libra energy. And when Saturn and Libra, even though that's a good thing, in this case, Libra represents diplomacy. Saturn means crushing diplomacy at this time. So I think it's going to start. I've noticed with my readings, and I said this before, you're going to see this in about 30 days. You're going to start seeing this more. I know it's already happening more. You're going to see it more in 30 days. And then in 3 months, 4 months, you're going to see it again, like it's gaining strength 4 months from now. And then 7 months from now, it will be even stronger. So think of it like right now, it's already getting crazy, but whatever you see right now, it's going to go up to like 25% noticeably. And then in 4 months, it'll be up to 50%. And then in 7 months, it'll be up to 75%. And then 12 months from now, or 13 months from now, it'll be the full completion of what I just said. Now, I think this is important on multiple levels. If you notice, this says spiritual communication influences religious men, teachers, and men of law. This is already happening. This is already happening, but you're going to see it in increments throughout the next year. It's going to grow and grow and grow. Religious men will be out here supporting these conversations. Teachers, men of law, will be out here supporting these conversations. And this is important for the divine feminine. If you consider yourself a divine feminine, then you are here to make an impact. Your destiny is somehow following the flow of what is happening right now. And if you want to combat this mentality, that means that you need to be out there also creating an influence to combat what these people are being fed. Like I saw this comment. I was watching TikTok and I was, looking at a political post, and not political, it was talking about tariffs. And this lady in the comments said, I don't know why people who are so concerned about homosexual marriage care about the government. They don't even know if they're a man or a woman. How can they run the government? And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, the ignorance is so despairing sometimes, really disheartening. But the only way to combat that is to create counter influence, to start educating. Now, upright mission protects against slander and impious people. It's reversed. So you're going to see a lot of people, the ones who are part of this chaos, they're not following their mission. They're not following their divine mission. They're going off of, I forgot which one of these was talking about the difference between ego-based, oh, I think it was this one, ego-based things versus following the flow of our destiny. You're going to start picking out who is following their ego and who is following their destiny. Like, I want to have a conversation again about decentering men, not because we hate men, not because we don't want a partner or we don't want male friends, but because one of the major issues among the feminine community is the centering of men. In fact, there's a test, and I don't know if it's pronounced Bechtel or Bechtel, but the Bechtel test is like, do that test for every movie out there, every book that you read. The test is when two women have a conversation, how often does a man become a part of that conversation? Because in a lot of movies and a lot of books and a lot of projects out there, the whole reason that test came out is because the creator of that test said, this shows you how low the representation is for feminine energy. Because even when women show up on screen or in books, they're talking about a man. Their focus is on a man, and it programs us to center them. So if you want to break out of that, pay attention to movies that pass the Bechtel test or Bechtel test. I'm sorry. I'm probably fucking it up, but either way, I there's a lot of words that I read and I don't know how they're pronounced. And someone recently, very friendly, they were not rude at all, but they privately messaged me to let me know I pronounced yesterday or a few days ago, I don't know. I said serotonin, or no, I said serotonin, and it's actually serotonin. I'm like, oops. So there's going to be words that I pronounce because I only read them and I'm not around other people who use them. So I've never heard anybody use it. So I just pronounce it a certain way. So anyway, back to that. Because there's something here about feminine energy needing to come through very powerfully. When the feminine heals, the masculine heals. The best way to help masculine energies, whether they are your sons, whether they are your brothers, whether they are your father or your lover, whoever they are, decenter them. Focus on yourself. And look, fountain of wisdom. Give success in all ventures. Before I move on. This one also said protection against slandered impious people. You're going to have to understand that when someone starts talking shit about what you do, it's because they are not following their divine path. And so they're going to have a problem with you doing it. In fact, now they're going to try and become an obstruction for you. Just ignore them. They're not a part of your reality. They are, but they don't have to become a center of your reality. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with this lady who is a fashion designer, and I think she has great ideas. But I did point out to her, she was talking about how there's a lot of envy in the fashion world. And I'm like, girl, there's envy in every single area of life. But if you focus on that, that's all you're going to see. Why don't you focus on like the people who want to work with you? Why don't you focus on like your designs? Envy is always going to be there. You just don't focus on it. Because where your attention goes, energy flows. And she was like, oh, that's right. Like it hadn't clicked for her before. So don't focus on that. Even if it's going to be present, just consider it an irritation that will make you glow even more. This is the time to use your wisdom. And look, give success in all ventures. You will be supported. You will be fine. Even the people who create irritation, as long as you focus on yourself and your healing and you're being grounded, you can turn any irritation into a glow up, into a wish fulfillment. Love and submission. Before we move even further, I told you something about the next 2 to 3 years. Unmarried women are going to have a much bigger problem than married women. Women who are women who decenter men, basically, are going to be a problem because that means that we're not following the patriarchy anymore. And I think that the fact that she's in full armor is like, just because you decenter men You don't have to go around announcing that to anybody. That's going to be your personal decision. I did also mention that other reading, and now I'm realizing it's coming out here now, because I said there might be another COVID, something like COVID, because we had Saturn in Aquarius the other day. And when Saturn transitioned into Aquarius, that's when we had COVID. And that placement really stood out to me. There might be another illness like that globally. You will be okay. You will be fine, as long as you listen to your intuition on how to avoid certain things. Now, influences paternal love and gives long life. I do think within the next 2 to 3 years, if you are unmarried, I think it's time that you focused on finding a partner. That's contradictory. I'm not telling you to focus on getting married. I'm saying focus on decentering men. Focus yourself, healing, groundedness, all of that, because then you will magnetically attract the person that's right for you. Because I do think that that's going to be important within the next 2 to 3 years. And the protects against infirmities also goes with cures illnesses. You will be protected no matter what's happening. As long as you keep working on your healing, your intuition, you will be fine. And deliberation from enemies, both visible and invisible. This is, guys, this is a war. That's what this is. It's a war. I'm going to do one more row before we move on to part 2, because I just realized it's 30 minutes, but let's see. I talked a lot, so next row. 8 of Pentacles again. And oh my God, look at this. I love it when they repeat, because that means the higher level one came out and the lower level one came out. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles. 6 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Bitch, I know what the fuck I'm saying. The 8 of Wands says, 8 of Pentacles, turns water into wine and back again, turns blood into wine, turns any metal into legal tender coins, makes fools wise. And then the 6 of Wands is teaches philosophy perfectly, brings souls back from the dead to answer questions. Interessant. Let's see. The Lovers. Causes women to love men and brings them together in love, can make women barren. Because the importance, I'm telling you guys, there's a huge importance in decentering men when you're picking partners even. Because if you're the type of person that thinks, well, I can't really pick a good partner unless I'm focused on that. No. If you focus on finding a partner, if you focus on finding a man, you're going to find a man that wants to become your only focus. When you decenter men and you focus on yourself, you will find a partner who focuses on themselves and the connection just like you do. Don't get it twisted. Let's see, what's the energy here? Guys, right? I fucking cannot. We got the 3 of Swords up here, and what do we get again? 3 of fucking Swords. Steals treasures from kings, destroys cities and the dignities of men, tells of things past, present, and future, causes love between friends and foes. Two of Cups. Wow. 2 of Cups and Queen of Cups. I'm telling you, causes the love of women to men and men to women. Again. And Queen of Cups. Teaches all sciences, performs wonderful poetry, follows all requests with excellence. Knight of Wands. Teaches the value of herbs and stones, transports anyone suddenly from one place to another. I didn't know that it was going to be connected to that other reading. I just mentioned that other reading in passing, and it looks like it's almost repeating that message a little bit. Because remember how, I don't know if y'all remember that reading, but I mentioned that there will be women there will be women who hunt down other women. Queen of Cups. They are the submissive ones. Love and submission. Follows all requests with excellence. These are the women who are going to be obedient to the patriarchy, and they feel more powerful when they are in proximity to people that they perceive as powerful. So they're going to obey them. There will, I think for a lot of you, the more you step into your spiritual power, you're going to start performing small miracles. But, word of warning, this came up with the Eight of Pentacles, and we already had the Eight of Pentacles show up here. Intellectual talent provides knowledge. And here it turns water into wine and back again, turns blood into wine, turns any metal into legal tender coins, makes fools wise. I've mentioned this before, but you may need to keep that private. You may need to keep that skill to yourself. Even if it's exciting. Even if it's very... look, and I didn't even realize until now the High Priestess is under there. To protect you from... I cannot protect you from magistrates. That's how. You keep it to yourself. When you get close to people, and I mean you really, really trust people who know how to do the same thing, those are the ones you're going to be able to tell. Do not tell people who don't know how to do it. A piece of you may want to brag. A piece of you may want to be like, oh my God, look what I can do. Don't do it. One of the skills that I see coming up for this collective is mediumship. Having the ability to call on people who have passed away to get them to answer questions. I will say some of you, because this is the Six of Wands, some of you will be known for that. But other things that are stronger, because mediumship is not a miracle, right? That's been around for a while. Some of you may gain a reputation off of that because it is a Six of Wands. But the Eight of Pentacles, the really miraculous shit, keep it to yourself. Do not mention that. So we had the Lovers, the Two of Cups. Both of these energies, I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole fucking war on women who are unmarried. I'm telling you. Like, there's going to be such pressure that a lot of you are going to go into conventional, like back in the old days, contract type marriages, because the legal pressure is going to be so strong. You're going to start finding shut doors in a lot of cases. Now, I will say, I'm seeing two different things with this Three of Swords, because we got the elevated one, we got the carnal one. I do think that if you find yourself forced to marry people you don't want to marry, because that might be a possibility, or forced to be in a relationship even when you didn't really want to, this is a good opportunity. Look at it like that. Again, turn the irritation, turn the situation in your favor. And these cards can even be used in that context as well, because if you are married to someone against your will, which would be incredibly tragic, but let's be real, there's a lot of tragedy going on right now. Steals treasures from kings, destroys cities and the dignities of men, and causes love between friends and foes. If you show yourself as a soft, healing force, you can actually get people who used to be your foes to become your friends. People who used to be your enemy or your jailer, they can become your true lover. And little by little, we win back our rights. We win back our freedom. And I guess some of you are going to have to think like how far you're willing to go to where you can still protect your dignity and the other person's, and get them to know you, get them to want to protect you, get them to want to be in a position where they can help you. Okay, I'm going to stop here because that's a lot of information. We're going to clarify on part 2. If you are already on Patreon, then fabulous. I will see you on the other side. If you are not on Patreon, then I hope you sign up so that we can see you on the other side. Okay. And if you want to help my algorithm, then drop in the comments below, at least the emojis on the title. That would show me support, and I appreciate that. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.